This is how we play.
Sort of, yeah. You have that moment. You're walking down the street, well, down the trail, I should say at this point, minding your own business, and coming up the other way is a tiefling who is wearing infernal garb. And you're like, a tiefling wearing infernal garb? Surely not. No, that's what that is. And the tiefling looks down at you. They're carrying a Hellspire weapon, which is a kind of cross between a spear and a double sword that's used in the Blood Wars. The devils use them to fight demons with. And
that's hot.
They look across you and this small army that you've got, and they turn around and seem to be surprised to find themselves alone without some kind of unit, because they're obviously set up to be a member of some kind of unit wearing a uniform. And he turns and makes eye contact directly with you and says, "I surrender."
I mean, we're not going to stop the paladin from engaging any way with a demon or a
excellent choice.
Tiefling. So,
well, it's a tiefling. I mean, we're not going to, kill him.
What do you think?
What are you doing?
I think he's lost.
I am fighting the Blood War. He's having this conversation with you in Celestial, but speaking Celestial mortifies and disgusts him, so he's having a hard time with it. But he's making the effort.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Does he speak common?
Yeah, I can't understand him.
It is a,
Ellie, what's he saying?
He says he's fighting in some kind of blood war. That ring any bells to either of you?
Do I know?
Do I know about the Blood War? I don't really have knowledge history, but I can roll it if you want.
Anybody who's trained in religion knows what the Blood War is.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm trained in religion.
All right.
I am too.
The Blood War is the ongoing conflict between chaos and law in the Abyss. It's the war between the devils and the demons, and it has gone on since law and chaos have existed, and will go on until the end of time, hopefully. Yeah. Because if it ever stops going on, it'll probably be because something has stopped the devils from stopping the demons from flowing into the multiverse like a leakage of oil.
The eternal struggle of evil and more evil.
Well, yeah. Evil with rules and evil against rules.
I read about this once.
But they're all dicks, for sure.
Well,
the land of my people.
Interesting conundrum. I take it you don't intend to be here in Naustrilla.
He gets a cagey look on his face. I do intend to be here in the prime material plane.
Okay. Mask, why?
I am fighting the Blood War.
Right, but is the Blood War here? I would like to know that.
The Blood War is everywhere.
Are there demon agents here in Naustrilla?
I have reason to believe that there are.
Hey, Lampay, did I fight demons that one time?
Yes.
There are!
Oh.
Hey, would I have knowledge about this demon sphere that I saw and then that I read about on the board?
Yeah, man.
Someone else saw? Hey, there's a random sphere that keeps popping up everywhere on this continent too.
His eyes get real big. What?
I'm speaking in common, so you speak common.
I'll switch over to common then.
Yeah, we have to. I sort of have to do that because of reasons. But the tiefling looks around and says, "I'm going to have to unsurrender. I need to report back on this." He seems disappointed, though.
You will.
Well,
another one of those sword thingies next time, though, for me.
Bring that sword.
I mean, you're on the law side, right? You're not on the chaos, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the law side.
Yeah.
While
I'm
overall,
whatever side gets me gold.
While we don't really find ourselves on the same side in this situation, he is not my enemy.
I'm not evil.
No, not you, but Tiefling.
He's the enemy of our enemies.
Yeah, he's not. Well, yeah, he's not currently my enemy at all. So, right now, he's not doing anything that is offensive to me. Soldier in a war, killing other evil creatures, not really a huge issue. So, I am more than happy to let him go, but I caution him that, not to be bringing an entire battalion into Nostria.
So when you say don't
Or
be
at
bringing
least
an
warn the
entire,
guild.
yeah, his eyes like travel up to the upward side of his head, like he's thinking, and he goes, "That would be very unfortunate for everyone."
Agreed.
What would you like us if we see a demon or anything like that? Just kill it.
Well,
I mean,
yes.
Obviously, yeah. But do you
Done.
know? Could I draw out a quick sketch of what this demon orb looks like and then show it to this people?
Ooh. Good idea.
You have.
I did
Galthor has
see it that
paper.
one time.
So yeah.
Galthar, could I borrow a page from your book? Just one. Just maybe half a page.
No, actually, I think I have another piece in my
Do you
backpack.
have do you have paper?
Don't we have
I'm pretty
loose
sure I have
paper in our
paper.
adventure king or adventure kit?
I have advanced adventuring gear. Does that
Yeah,
work?
you guys have got whatever paper you need.
Yeah, okay. So I'll sketch out what I saw that time because
Well,
it was
you're
made from the earth, right?
While you're sketching that out, I'm telling the tiefling about how that very small barbarian pulled that spider guy down and shoved his head into a rift.
He laughs at
That
that.
was badass.
They're so
Anyway, I finished.
stupid. Their plans are always terrible.
I'll finish the sketch and show
Why is
him
he a
this.
dragonborn all of a sudden?
Have you seen one of these before? And I'll show him the sketch.
Abyssal Dynamo, he says.
Abyssal Dynamo. Yeah. I know we have a message board about learning or finding a way to destroy them, right? Yeah, we do. Do you have any way of getting rid of this thing from our plane?
Not yet.
Your plane. Alright, do you have a map of this continent?
Do you ask him for a map of the continent?
I'm saying, does he? I'd like to point out on a map where these things are, or where we saw them.
He's not willing to admit any kind of ignorance or anything, but at this point, it's pretty clear that he has no idea what world he is on. At all.
Then I'll
Let alone
point him in a
continent.
general direction. Like 12 days that way we saw one, and then apparently 2 days that way we saw one. Guild.
Yeah, he takes all this down, he appreciates your images, and he promises that despite the fact that in the future there is almost certainly going to be some kind of conflict, at least for the time being, everybody can focus on the most dangerous enemy to hand, which are demons that apparently already have a foothold here, which is something his superiors are going to be very interested to hear.
So when the time comes, we can get rid of the worst evil first, and then deal with our own relations between each other.
Hopefully, I will not be responsible for that.
There.
I do not like owing debts.
Well, don't think of it as a debt, because it kind of helps both our sides.
Yeah. This is mutual gain here. Ellie would like to say, I hope that when next we meet, we're once again not enemies.
He nods, obviously thinking the same thing. He disappears.
Also, try not to be bit by the poisonous spiders.
That'd be so funny. He goes back to report and just gets off by one of those damn spiders. So much for the blood war. No, he disappears in a column of fire and smoke, which stinks like sulfur.
Enjoy your war.
Oh, they do. They do enjoy their war.
Yeah. Huh.
I had
Keep
a cool
them busy.
sword, though.
That was a very.
I want one.
I didn't want to say it because it'd give him a bit of ego, but it was a very cool sword. I kind of want one too. To be honest,
He immediately surrendered. You probably could have tried to take it, but it probably wouldn't have
Now-
went well.
yeah. Listen, he surrendered. That wasn't my place to take his items. He wasn't. I'm sure he has done some dark things in his past.
He's
but
doing
on a
dark
different
things in his
world
present.
where I have. He's way outside my jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's the
Way
other issue
outside
there
of
too. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so that's what happened when you rolled a 3, a 2, and a 1.
All right. Cool.
Take a mental note of that sword and then have one made later on. Just a purified version of it.
Yeah, you
Uh,
need exotic
I'm
weapon
turning my
proficiency.
scimitar. Me swinging that thing around probably wouldn't go well. I would hurt myself.
Dude, imagine if it was just like radiant damage too.
Yeah, depending
no,
on
I'm imagining it. I'm imagining it.
depending on what it's made from, the one that he was carrying would have hurt you to wield.
That's why I'm saying make something similar, but
Yeah.
is also opposition. So instead of infernal, it would be radiant.
Exactly.
But like, then what if a member of the army sees me and sees that I'm copying their sword? It would be embarrassing.
It depends
Well,
on whether or not you're fighting demons. Demons are
They
evil
might
too.
be,
That's what it's designed for.
They might be
That's
impressed too that you'd be willing to go and take the time to copy their design.
Maybe I've just been dealing with Descent into Avernus for too long, but all right.
That was interesting. I think we handled that appropriately, question mark, as I directed to the rest of the group.
Yeah.
I have no side in this blood war yet, but I'd rather a side that follows some sort of ruling than a side that's just pure chaos.
Agreed. I'm rare to take this stance. Very rare, but lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and that's what my belief is.
And an evil that means us no harm at the moment, compared to an evil that apparently has meant us harm in recent history. So,
Yeah, man, it's a bitch.
we continue on our journey.
So I thought you said Sarah and Ray destroyed the evil.
A city.
Well, she kind of
Evil.
Well, she destroyed a city. Yeah, destroyed an evil city, and then before she was a goddess, beat the shit out of a god so bad he quit his war and went back to hell with his tail between his legs.
Anyway.
Isn't Asmodeus a D&D god as well?
As what is, yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, that is something that might come up. That's something that might come up at some point because it's going to be real weird when this character finds out about Akusai and the version of hell that exists here. But we've decided that it's canonical that Asmodeus and Akusai know about each other. And they see one another as kind of like they're standing back to back against the multiverse. Because if it wasn't for the fact that Akusai is the version of the ruler of hell in this world and Asmodeus in the other, then it would mean that there was two of one of them. And if there was another version of themselves in either case, they would have to be driven to destroy the other. But now, because they aren't, they don't necessarily have to, which is a huge relief.
Discord.
All right.
Oh, look, the airship.
Indeed. So can we, camp outside the airship and go in the morning, or what's the plan?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. What time of day is it?
Wait, you guys see an airship?
On the map, yeah.
Why am I not seeing the same map as you?
Are you a DM?
No.
Okay, then I don't know.
You might need to refresh the page.
That's a good idea.
Probably
yeah, we're
decent.
back at the Roche. We're back at the airship with the gnomes. Gimbal. Bimble Gimbal? I have the notes somewhere. Hold on. Where did I put
The
that?
tiefling
No.
disappears in a column of smoke and ends up in the wrong house.
No, I'm on some sheet that says, post your character sheet once filled out to Google Drive. I will let you know what you may need to be dealt with. And it's got a table with a few different races surrounding it.
Oh no, you're in. You're not in Naustrilla. You're in Lampedition.
Oh.
How did you?
There are two very similar things.
Naustrilla, Lampedition, Westmarch is being. That's weird. I can see you guys roll though.
Yeah, his picture was also in Roll20.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I put it there.
I'm saying
Well,
his
right.
avatar, like his box with his name and his.
Yeah, I can see all your
Oh,
names
true
up
enough.
here, and I can roll.
Oh, right. Okay, so here's what happened. You didn't log out last time. So when I was at the convention, Kaz was still in the system. So I moved
Oh.
Kaz to a page, and that page overrides. Yeah, if I do this,
Oh,
it
so
should
you-
put you back.
Ah, yep.
You said-
Here's
you-
everybody.
You separated him on a different tab.
Yeah, I completely
Oh,
forgot about
okay.
that. In fact, because you were in here as Ellie, I wasn't even sure that would have mattered anyway.
Well, I just changed my name, so yeah.
Gimbal.
Okay,
Bimble.
cool. All right. Yeah, I have a problem with not logging out of stuff. I put my headset down and I wander
Oh.
away from my computer and just.
So, do we make it to the airship before we're ready to camp?
Yeah, we would camp out first, right? Because we've been gone for 18 hours.
Yeah, we kind of
Well-
need a rest.
Well, yeah, but if we're next to the airship, we can invite the gnomes to come eat food with us. We have a bread basket and then investigate.
That's what I'm saying. If it's whole an 18-hour trip, we probably would have stopped closer to like at least like 15. So we're probably depending on how long the days are and how early we left the first time.
My character can walk a long way.
Oh, so
Yeah,
could
no,
mine.
And I survive off 4 hours of sleep.
But
I-
walking in the dark is just kind of just rough.
I also have low light though, so the dark isn't really an issue for me.
That's true.
Like the
So
moonlight
it would be
dark.
fine.
The dark is.
Yeah, I think I have low light as well as an ASMR.
I can conjure a mount.
All right, what do we have here? Yes, I also have a light vision.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, so I think
Fascinating.
I'd be comfortable pushing to the airship and then camping out at the airship.
Okay,
Da-da-da.
I'm into it.
Right.
We'll party with gnomes.
So, you get there at night. You set up your hut, your magic hut, or your yurt, your magic hut, and your various, not exactly watches.
I'd like to tell us to take a second and do my Endure Elements ritual just in case we get rained on or something so it doesn't bother everyone.
Yeah, might as well.
Just comfortability. We're being comfortable, right?
Yeah, it's just what do they call that? The quality of life.
Yeah.
So you do that. You have yourselves a time, and then at dawn, when you come out of your various huts and whatnot, you find the gnomes standing there waiting. They're sort of staring expectantly, and have a look about them as though they've been staring expectantly for hours.
So I only sleep for 4 hours. Was I standing there just looking at them waiting as well?
Well, 'cause you're inside the hut.
Yeah, okay.
So it's when the hut is gone, they're just standing there. They've been staring at this hut.
Can we plan it so we're holding the charcuterie and wine as the hut disappears?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what else would you be doing with it? The hut's gone.
I'm in my yurt.
Yeah, you come out of the yurt when their hut disappears and a bunch of gnomes are standing there.
So was your hut inside you're inside the hut, or you were?
No, I think it's the same size.
I think technically my yurt is bigger than the hut because the hut is made to hold like 4 medium creatures, and I'm size large.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
And a yurt needs to be big enough to be like a hut for me. It's a very big hut.
the area for both is like burst 2, I think. Or based on the idea of it being burst 2. Now,
Hello, gnomes, guys. Gimbal Bimble, nice to see you again. I don't think I've met your friend here.
after a second passes, the third one says, "I'm Stan," and the other two kind of look over at him like, "Eh." Nobody likes Stan.
Yeah.
Well, good to meet you, Stan.
I like Sam.
I'm gonna throw a rocket
I know about
scan.
gnomish culture. Naming yourself Stan is very strange.
Yeah.
They typically name themselves something fun to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, Stan's
Okay,
pretty
hold on.
boring.
How is Stan not fun to say?
Stan.
Exactly. Especially if you have like some attention, like, oh, Stan. Like,
No, dude, Stan's lame, but I would accept Steve, because that's fun to say.
Steve is also fun to say.
What I'm saying is that the gnomes probably have a debate over whether or not Stan is fun enough to say to actually introduce himself as that.
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
Maybe Stan's
Maybe
just an
that's what-
asshole. Who can say?
Maybe that's why the airship crashed, because they were having a debate about Stan.
It's Stan's fault.
Anyway, how's it going?
Who did
been
I
a day or
quarantine?
two. Sorry?
What?
Quarantinis.
I like quarantinis.
Nah, Lamp.
All right.
You gotta cut that out.
I do drink too much. Now, the fallen airship is in the distance behind you.
We brought you some food and some beverage to. Just,
I give the wine a little shake to draw their eyes to it.
They go.
and we pull out the charcuterie board and we just say, "Here's some meats and cheeses and breads and such."
Thinking about it now, we must have brought a lot of food because there's probably a shit ton of gnomes.
I mean, we only really saw the ones that went and attacked the giants, so we can assume there's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, you can never tell with gnomes because usually you can't see gnomes. Gnomes are notorious for not being seen.
These appear to be the gnomish leaders.
Freedom! Bimble cries, and the other two go, Freedom! Stan just phones it in, though,
Freedom!
which is normal
Right.
for Stan.
I'm
Freedom,
sitting
yeah.
down, by the way.
Yeah.
This is important.
What did you
You're
say?
sitting down.
I'm sitting down. I'm trying not to tower over the gnomes. This is difficult. I'm still towering over the gnomes, despite the fact that I'm sitting down.
Nah, freedom. Eh. Just in
So
case.
in timeline, this has been like we came yesterday, killed the giant, and then just magically disappeared, and
Well,
we came back today.
It's
right?
probably about 3 days.
Okay.
But yeah, for gnomes, watching a bunch of people in the midst of violence just disappear randomly is not unusual.
So
What's
They
weirder
do.
is that you continue to be engaged in violence when you could have disappeared. That's what they don't understand.
to give you a little clarification, we have there's a rule with the group we're with that brings us back after a certain amount of time. That's what happened.
They
Anyway,
seem
we came to say hi.
they seem weirdly skeptical.
Fair.
I introduce myself as Alessandro Everdon, Paladin of Sanray.
They all look at
And then
each
we got
other.
food.
Nice sigh.
Does anybody know what any of those words mean? No. Meh.
She's a decent person.
Just call me Ellie.
Okay, you're Ellie. Nobody
Okay.
laughs. It's hard to tell if it was supposed to be a joke or not.
I'll point out this is Khan over here.
They all glare at the yak, as though they're expecting it to say or do something.
Yaks don't do a
yak.
lot.
I'll wait for the yak to do some sort of like chewing or grunt.
The yak continues to not give a shit at all. It does that a lot.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That's right. Playing true to your character.
All right. There is something very, very awkward about the whole thing.
I mean, last time they didn't care if we went on the ship. Do you guys want to just say we're gonna go and check it out? And see
Well,
what they
I
do?
mean, would you guys like to try a sandwich first?
They all look at the charcuterie board, but none of them reach out for it or anything. And they all
reach
keep
out
looking
to
over. They all keep looking over at the Goliath, and then at the yak, and then at the charcuterie board.
I'll reach out and eat like a piece of cheese or whatever, and just, hey, it's good. You should try some.
For the record, you are totally allowed to try some.
Yeah, freedom.
Yeah. Also, I am not here to, run your lives.
Well, you guys saw that this big person tried to kick the shit out of the other and did kick the shit out of the other.
Yeah, but that's normal.
Oh,
Giants fight for
Giants-
supremacy all the time, Gimbal says.
that's fair.
Like, typically what would probably happen is I would have kicked his ass and then taken over. I'm just here so that the security systems won't shoot you guys.
The gnomes all like look at each other, their eyes go wide, and they suddenly seem to realize that there would be problems otherwise. Like it hadn't dawned on them that would be the case.
Anyway, and I'll offer the board charcuterie again to them and say, it's good. You should try some, and then I'll put it on like a rock or a stump or something that's around.
They leap on it like animals. Their hats fly off into the distance, and they start leaping on there like rabid monkeys, tearing into that charcuterie board.
Are we giving them wine?
Hell yeah, we're giving them wine. I pop the tops off them.
And do the same thing, I guess. Put them near them and just or on the table and just walk away.
Yeah, I kind of find a nice balancing point on the rock and.
I pull out a few cups.
They do
and
not
hand
use
them
the
to
cups.
Smaller people to put there.
They do not use
awesome.
the cups. They glug copiously. The whole bottle. Ah, oh, it tastes terrible. Something awful happened to these grapes. Oh, glug, 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 glug.
And I slowly tell Ellie to hide the wine that'll get me drunk.
Probably a good call.
I guess we're good. We're good to go on the ship. Let's just go and see if they get pissed at us.
All right. The drunk, well-fed gnomes stumble around aimlessly, yelling to themselves occasionally, "Freedom! Freedom!
God damn! We just made a bunch of Scottish people.
Freedom!"
Yeah. Whatever.
Anyone else's Discord cutting out really bad?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
That sucks.
I didn't hear a thing you just said.
Well, that's a shame because it was awesome.
The gnomes are stumbling around drunk.
Oh yeah.
That's fascinating. Thank you
We
for
should
the...
probably make sure they don't, like,
They're gnomes. They'll be
Like
fine.
fire?
They don't
Yeah,
mind.
I mean, they're
they
not-
don't disappear in weird
Yeah, they're not like
places.
wandering far away. They're kind of still in the airship camp here,
Yeah.
stumbling drunk.
Alright.
Can we tell them that we got a place where there's a lot more of this stuff for them? If they stick around, we'll take them there.
Ah, freedom! Ah.
And it's free too. You can do whatever you want. You can literally just get drunk, do whatever you want.
Nah.
And if you
there are
do this
rules.
work, they'll even pay you.
Bemble goes and crawls into a bush to hide. He's really drunk though, so he's not doing a very good job.
All right, let's go to the ship.
Stan
Yeah.
seems to
Okay.
think that he's invisible, but he might have skipped a step because you can still see him.
All right. Well, let me
Dan.
take. I'm gonna pull out my sword in my left hand, my shield in my right, and I'm gonna say, "Mind if I take the front?"
You can.
No, we should let the Goliath take the front. There was a security system last time that didn't
Well,
attack.
yeah, but it's not like they'll miss the Goliath behind that the Azamar. Like the Goliath is like 15 feet tall or some shit. I mean, they're fucking big.
Am I 15?
Well, probably not, but even 10 is really, really, really big.
Well, yes, but see, here's the thing. Generally speaking, you can be a little bit taller than your size category, right? Because humans are size medium, but they're like 6 feet tall. So I imagine I'm like 12-ish feet.
Yeah, it's still like real big.
Yeah, and compared to my elf, who's like 5'11", 6,
Yeah.
that's twice the size.
That's the point of
5'10",
size
sorry.
category.
And that's what happens when you enlarge person. You double your height, right, and multiply your weight by 8. So like 12ish feet is large.
Yeah. The rule of thumb
Well,
is
even-
10 feet, but then their reach probably wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it,
My
though.
character's paranoid because last time we had the Goliath first, and the automated system didn't attack us immediately.
Yeah.
So as long as you're comfortable taking a shot or two, if it doesn't work, I'm cool with
I
that.
am completely comfortable with that. The safest place for everyone is behind me.
Okay.
I like having a tank.
Yeah. They're like this is an idea so that you can see, like, comparatively how fucking big large is to medium. Generally.
Yeah. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're not going to cover that there's a large person in our party.
So we press on.
Okay,
Yeah.
as you approach, there's a warforged standing up there on top of the bridge. It is holding its bizarre crossbow across the front of its body, and holding absolutely perfectly still in a way that living creatures normally cannot.
That's kind of disturbing. Does anybody else find that just slightly irksome?
No,
I-
I've seen it before.
Okay.
Tinny does
So, like,
that.
You just get used to it after a while? Because I find myself, the statuesque is
Creepy.
yeah,
So-
should we talk to them?
No,
Don't we
no.
talk to them?
No.
They don't respond?
I mean, we never
Oh.
tried, but
Oh, well, I guess, I'm gonna walk up to a warforged and say, greetings, my name is Alessandriel Eversong. I'm a paladin of Sanray.
It does not react in any way at all.
Yeah, okay, you called it. Well, worth trying. Let's move on.
I mean, to comfort you, you'll hear them coming. They won't sneak up on you.
I guess that does kind of comfort me. I feel for that. This plate armor, I kind of in a similar situation, so.
When you guys start talking about that, Gimbal hides too.
I mean, I'll go with Ellie after Ellie goes first.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'll
So
go
we head
after.
up into the airship.
Indeed. I suggest we go to the place where we fought the giants and,
Go from there.
well, look at his files.
Oh.
Yeah, as well as I guess all of us remember that he had mysteriously shiny stuff on for a giant. So if you want to loot, there's
Yeah.
a chance.
Seems like a reasonable idea. I'm not fond of the idea of seeing a 3-day-old corpse, but
I mean, it's a giant, so it'll probably be twice as bad as you think.
It's very logical.
I like
I like-
that logic.
I appreciate how reassuring you are.
You think Taz is gonna want a skull?
Yeah. So what kind of stuff would giant?
As would love his call.
Like in Skyrim, a giant's toe is part of a crafting thing. Is there any giant parts?
Are there any giant parts? It's just a really
That are
tall
part of-
dude.
Okay. There's no magical properties to like a giant toe.
No.
Well,
Or giants
the dwarves
other
believe if you eat giant scrotum, it helps with fertility.
Well,
That's exactly what I was gonna go for.
Well,
Good thing my elf doesn't like dwarfs, so he's not going to listen to that.
in universe, by and large, the dwarves believe that the ratification of a giant makes the universe a better place. It's pretty much
Oh,
as close as it gets, because they just fucking hate him.
So we'd remember the more direct path to get back to where we were the last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to that corpse then.
Yeah, you got you around left, right, through the down hall. And
Yeah, I
then-
want one of those crossbows actually.
So the you get back to the far side of the hold where the office was set up at, and this office has been burned because it was on fire, and the
Who did
corpses.
that?
Yeah, exactly. The corpses of the Warforged are still strewn around. So were their bizarre crossbows.
Can I grab one?
But there's no evidence of there ever having been a giant here. And in place of where the giant's corpse was, there is a large number of peculiar badgers who seem to be as surprised with their presence inside of an airship as you are to find them there. There's kind of a lot of badgers.
Mistake.
What the fuck?
I do not have animal handle, but I do have a +4 to animal handle.
Animal, I only have a +1 and no training.
The primal characters do not have animal skill.
Yep. I also have a +4, but no training.
All right, so none of you have any fucking clue what the hell is happening here. But
Would nature cover this?
you could roll a nature, sure.
I also have nature. I have a +11 to nature.
You win with the plus. I only have a
Yeah,
+7.
only have a 6.
So this is one of those situations I take the 11, or do I take my 7?
It's a situation in which two of you roll, and you take the bonus, which is the higher between the two.
Yeah, 26.
So badgers are solitary creatures. They tend to be territorial. Not only do they not suddenly appear on airships, but they certainly wouldn't suddenly appear on airships in large numbers. And if they did, they would probably be killing each other. But instead, they're all sitting around here being like, why are we all in here?
Are the boots and the gauntlet gone?
I detect magic.
Ooh.
You detect the faint traces of primal magic.
Okay.
Hey, I'm primal.
I'm gonna do something a little different with my introduction. I'm just gonna kind of crouch down, rest my arms on my knees, and say, "Hi, I'm Ellie."
One of the badgers looks at you while this happens. The others do not pay any attention.
I step over the badgers into the room.
Which Arbon would realize is necessary, because if they were all paying attention the way that that mid-range predator creatures do, they would be fighting each other. It must have something to do with the kind of magic that kept them here. It's also temporary, and you've already started to feel that magic is fading.
Can I just grab one of the Warforged crossbows and pick it up and take it?
You do so.
What do I label it as?
Weird Warforged crossbow, in parentheses, sky.
Okay. Then I'm like, hey guys, look.
Nice. Yeah, good. I want look for something around the room that would make kind of be a makeshift target and be like, hey, take a shot at that.
Well, everything in the office is burned up anyway.
Yeah, so like a burnt bookshelf. I'll be like, hey, hit the third book on the top shelf.
And I gesture to my cool bow, like, this one?
Yeah.
As you see, it's like shimmering. My not the crossbow, but I'm like, can I just use my regular bow?
He means for you to
what?
test out the bow, not to.
Yeah, I thought
it's all good.
The point is not to
the
destroy
crossbow.
the bookshelf. It's not like you
Yeah,
came here to destroy bookshelves.
What's
I want to see
the?
you try the crossbow. Like, let's see how good of a shot you are.
Can I don't know, like investigate the crossbow to see if I know how to fire it?
Well, it's a point and click interface. It's basically a gun. It's not.
So it's not like a weird mounted onto a Warforged
It's
autonomous bow.
no. They do carry it separate from their persons. It's reloading it that's going to get complicated.
Does anyone have a perception over 9?
I have 12.
Anyone else?
Yeah. I just don't remember. It's 10.
I think that the elves have the best, but Callum's Grip always rolls garbage.
I mean, so what are we doing? Like, you want me to fire the crossbow? Can I do a perception check before I fire the crossbow?
That's probably a good choice.
I don't see why not.
Do you want me to roll the second one, or?
Yeah. The perception streak fucking continues.
Yeah, you just always roll trash.
That was garbage.
There you go.
Oh, it's real bad.
Yeah, you guys see a crossbow. He's holding it. You look at it very
Yeah,
closely
somebody
for
just
no
searched
reason.
the room.
Well, you also rolled a 2, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll try and fire the crossbow at the bookshelf.
All right.
1 deep 20. Do I plus anything?
Your dexterity modifier.
2.
I mean, you hit the bookshelf. You hit, like, the side of the bookshelf rather than the sort of middle area you were aiming for, but you hit the bookshelf.
All
But guys, they work.
right. Yeah, not bad.
Do we want to pick up all of them? Because there's 3 Warforged bodies, right?
There are 2.
There's 2. I mean, I'll grab both. Just for now, and somebody wants them, we'll dish them out.
All
I'll
right.
just add
Yeah,
a
we'll
times
see what
2.
it's like, and I might take it later. We'll see.
I'll add
Anything
time
in
to
here not on fire that looks interesting?
I mean, this whole place is fucking weird. Everything about this ship is completely alien. And a lot of the things in the ship, too, are sort of weirdly mismatched.
Is there a way
Yeah.
to?
That's actually kind of the norm for me since I came to Naustrilla, so I'm looking for something out of the ordinary.
The ship.
So, is there a way to take a 10 on perception for searching the room?
What are you searching the room for?
Any
Anything?
information, like it was burned, so I'm looking for any papers that might have survived.
You don't
I
even find
noticed
it.
that there's papers, that's weird.
You don't notice any place where papers would have been stored.
Oh, good.
There were books. They burned. They were probably some kind of logbook or something. They're hilariously small considering a giant was writing in them.
So
Yeah.
does that perception cover my searching of the room as well?
Sure, yeah.
Or do you want me to re-roll for that? Like, I'm asking.
Confidentially, there's nothing to find.
Okay.
There wasn't that much of
Guys.
interest in this place before Matt set it on fire.
Guys, I
Yeah.
can't find anything. It's all burnt for some reason.
I was kind of looking for, like, a date.
Maybe there's something further in the ship.
There's no chests or no crates or nothing in this room?
If there were, they burned.
Well,
No,
let's,
nothing like crates.
A chest could survive a burn and probably still keep the items inside.
There's no chest. This was a place where somebody like just did their work most of the hours of the day. And it was very utilitarianly designed for that purpose and probably designed for somebody smaller than the person who was using it.
I also remember you saying the way the ship was split, there was like a quarters or an area that we couldn't really get to from the top side.
Yeah, because it smashed into the rocks.
Seems like there's a way around from the underside of the ship?
I mean, you can climb through the ship to the area where it smashed up against the rocks, but there's rocks smashed up into it, so...
let's go check it out.
What do you guys think? Investigate a bit more?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah!
we came all this way. We
Why the
should.
fuck are we here?
So, when you look at it, particularly Galithar, you can see where the ship had some kind of... probably like a network of Dwellmares protecting it. And you can see where the Dwellmares were breaking down, and then along the area where the Dwellmares were breaking down, whatever this ship is made of did not handle those rocks at all. And it just fucking mangled it. It's like a super, super soft metal that just sort of like bent and tore itself during the impact into weird shapes. And then along the area where it meets up with the hull that's still intact, you can see the area where it was still protected by the Dwellmares.
And there's any Dwellmares there now?
There don't seem to be, no. They were probably what was keeping it up.
I mean, it makes sense that a ship would be such light material if it needs to fly. You couldn't have 6-inch thick walls if it needs to fly, right?
Yeah. Also, while this seems extremely complex, the gnomes are sort of more known for kind of like really half-assed sorcerer magic mixed with a little bit of like Feywild trickery magic. They don't build airships. You know what I'm saying? Like this, whatever did this was an extremely complex level of magic, and that giant was not doing it, and those Warforged were not doing it. So when whatever it was that was keeping this thing up in the air and that kept the hull in shape and the parts of it that didn't crumble when it hit the ground, whatever it was that did that level of magic is nothing to do with what's here now.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's like a whole guild of wizards.
Tense.
Because it crashed.
That is a crazy ass wizard.
Yeah, that's a lot of magic.
Yeah, you've never heard of one wizard that could have done everything that would have to have been done to make this thing fly and, know how to design it and the enchantments that must have gone into whatever the shit is it's even made of. I mean, this isn't even the kind of metal that elves and dwarves work with. This is something completely different.
Could I take a chunk of metal?
Yeah, it's not even hard. Like, you expect it to be hard, and it just, like, crimples in your hand. You can just peel it right off. It makes a horrible sound.
Can I take enough that I would think would make a sword eventually?
I don't think it's good for that.
Roll a...
Or a weapon of some sort. Yeah.
It's super thin. Super thin. So the thing is, like, usually how things work here is like you can put an enchantment on just about anything, and it'll make it almost completely indestructible. So like there are sorcerers and sorceresses who run around wearing enchanted bikinis, because sometimes seduction is part of what they do. Warlocks will do it too. But the enchantment that's laid on it makes it indestructible. It gives deflection magic to the person wearing it, and can do all this other weird shit. Something very similar is what was making this metal plausible as a building substance. In its current state, it's as thin as paper.
And that's what I'm thinking. If I can grab enough of it, I could sell it to somebody who wants to make a really, really lightweight set of armor and enchant it to be indestructible.
I mean, that's what they were doing when they made this thing fly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or building material for a house that could.
So you're gonna roll a. What the fuck kind of roll is that?
My character has crafting and can in fact judge that.
Okay, so you realize once he starts talking like this that he's gonna slice the shit out of his hands, and that this has to be handled carefully.
I inform you that you're going to slice the shit out of your hand.
Yeah, you're gonna Ginsu your fingers off.
I'm reaching for it, and I look at you a little bit scared, and I stop reaching.
Yeah, you've gotta handle it a certain way, because this really thin, really flimsy metal will give you a paper cut down to the bone.
Ugh. Well, thanks for warning me. What do you think, Arbon? Do you think there's any way we could salvage some of this for guild purposes?
Yeah, there's a lot of material.
Out of this.
Maybe that could be a separate thing. Then we can send a bunch of people to.
Do you think perhaps we could hire the gnomes to salvage it for us?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how high they are on the freedom at the moment.
Maybe they're planning to get the ship back and running and do something with it. So
that's true. I'd hate to take it from them.
Let's jot it down in a notebook to bring up with the guild and let them know that there's this kind of material out here.
Good plan.
Yeah.
And bring the sample back.
Yeah, so could you help me get a small sample that wouldn't kill me?
Yeah, I put on some leather gloves and...
You just...
I have plate gauntlets. I should be able to get in there pretty well and break a piece off.
You have Ellie hold it, and then you take a pair of pliers on one side, and then a pair of pliers on the other side, and just bend it, and as you bend, it tears. And you just tear it all the way down.
Nice.
Right here at the impact zone, it's super easy.
Good. It's an idea that we can maybe use it. You said there's more to explore in this hallway?
Well, not really. It's mostly rocks and debris. And by debris, I mean, like, nothing.
And we can't get to that quarters you mentioned before.
Well, I mean, if the metal is on the quarters is the same thickness as this metal, then I think we could just take an axe to it.
There's like super pathetic. There's a super pathetic barracks setup. This is probably where they were having the gnomes sleep, judging from the size of the cots.
Well, where would the equivalent to captain's quarters be?
That's a weird one, because you'd think that you would need like a massive fucking captain's quarters, but it seems to just be the office. The office is what was inside that top dome, which is where you'd think that the quarters would be. Where the hell was this giant sleeping?
Huh. Nothing inside the barracks of interest?
No, it's completely... In fact, this place doesn't look like it was lived in. Huh. This place gives you the same feeling as being in a rented carriage. There's just nothing here.
For the giant sleeping quarters.
Yeah. Where the fuck are those? There's nothing. There's nothing like that here. Where the hell was that giant sleeping?
Like
in his chair?
Nowhere in the entire airship?
There's nowhere in this place big enough for him to lay down to go to sleep. It's crazy. In fact, you can't shake the feeling that a lot of this place, the doorways, the openings, some of the hatches, the way the ladders are built, it really does look like it was supposed to be manned by your people.
That's weird.
This place is built to your dimensions. Like maybe a little taller than you, but more or less your size. Not the size of that.
It's nice if it's a little taller than me.
Not the size of that stone giant.
That's weird. My people don't do machines. Well, I mean, we do machines, but not in the, building them way.
Not in the building them way.
Yeah, we scavenge them and sell them.
Well, I mean,
It's a thing.
Go get the
is there
tractor.
is there an
And
engine room?
And they're not usually machines we're doing. We're finding magic items and runes.
No. There's nothing here that would propel it either. You do notice that when you bring that up. There's no sails. There's no anchor.
Can you do your detect magic thing again? Or is that a one-time?
No, detect magic is you have.
We can all okay. Anyone who isn't of the martial power source, so I think
Yeah,
everyone here, can detect magic, but they will only detect magic of their type.
Can I try since I'm technically primal and arcane?
Yes.
Yeah?
What's a roll on that?
You are
Arcana?
trained in nature and you are trained in arcana, correct?
Yes.
You don't detect the presence of any active dwellers on this craft.
If you want to check the paladin, you can probably see if there's any divine.
Arbon,
Yeah, I will check for divine.
I
Yeah.
relay that information as well.
you rule that one out as well. Arbon, roll a wisdom.
I believe that's a +4. Yes, that is a +4. Dirty 20.
In Athene, there are toys where a small wooden object on rails sits across a launcher that projects it. If you were to guess, you can't tell right now because this thing would be sitting on them. There are going to be 2 or 3 long, thin rails at the bottom of this thing.
So, there's a good chance this was a giant Hot Wheel, is what I'm hearing.
Something like that, yeah. This is part of maybe some kind of bigger apparatus where there's a launching mechanism.
Huh, that's interesting.
Whatever that is, it's not here.
So we're working with this whole time aspect. It got launched in its own time, hit some sort of barrier that projected it somewhere else, and it crashed in Naustrilla because of it.
Yeah.
I'll note that whatever it is that this thing launches from is probably upwards of 40 feet long. Whatever that is, it's
Assume that.
fucking big.
Do we get like a direction on where it came through? Like the direction it crashed, so we can kind of say like, hey, there's potentially a time portal in this direction.
No. I mean, sort of, but it would depend on a lot of factors that you're like, okay, if I assume as the bird flies that there's a catapult over there that fired this thing, maybe. But like,
because it's an airship that could steer it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like trying to figure out where a ship came from because you found it in the ocean. It's
So being the smartass Valinor is, I'd point out to the group that, hey, in this direction, and I'll just point in a circle, there must be a launcher somewhere.
Yeah.
I point to the direction that is opposite of the crash scar. Because, if it was flung here, there would be a trail, right? As it landed.
Sort of. I mean, if somebody had fired, if you found a ship that had sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and you could tell that at one point it had been moving to the northwest, that doesn't mean that you know it came from Spain. It could move under its own power. So,
We just assume it came from the sky.
yeah.
So we can't
Yeah,
find
you're like,
the
I assume it came from that direction, pointing every which way, and I point up. I think it came from that direction.
Okay,
So,
that's true, yeah.
My character is only a hair smarter than average.
Okay.
So being very wise but not smart, that's the kind of thing I would say.
Oh, yeah. A wise ass, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So what else do we do here? What's left?
So do we find any more evidence of where this thing might have come from?
No. There's nothing else here. This thing is weirdly barren.
I grab a pipe and bring it with us.
How many Warforged are on this ship, not including the dead two?
1.
And it's the one on the rock.
Yeah.
It's the one on the bow.
Yeah, the one that was looking at us, but Ellie went and talked to it and didn't say a word.
Speaking of that, I go up to it and I'm like, follow me.
It obeys.
Do anything? It obeys?
Yes.
You've got a Warforged.
Alright.
So can I check the Warforged's bodies? I know there's probably nothing. We took crossbows, but is there anything else on them?
No.
Armor? No?
Everything else about them seems built in. The crossbows were the only things that were foreign to their bodies. They seem to rely otherwise completely on whatever they've been composed of and the way in which they've been composed. Which,
Yeah,
by the way,
how
is
have
not
you
like
Warforged?
most Warforged.
I was about to ask, is there any point in trying to bring them back and get them reactivated on the farm? Is that where they get reactivated?
Well, that's the only place we know of someone who activated a Warforged.
Yeah, the only thing anybody seems to know about any of this is a goblin named Uglek that doesn't want all of the goblins killed, which seems to be a very important thing for goblins for some reason. They seem to be very distracted by not all being killed.
It would be worth it to try and bring these bodies. Are they in enough shape that if they got reactivated, they would be walkable and usable?
No idea. Most people don't believe they exist.
If we bring the bodies back too, we could probably get them reactivated.
Could Khan carry both of them?
Not them and everything else that you're carrying. Like not you and
Okay.
them and the yurt. They're
How heavy are they?
they're about 500 pounds each.
So could he carry my yurt and one of them?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
We should have brought a horse cart. I was thinking about it too.
I take the less damaged one?
You put the less damaged one on the yak.
On Khan, yeah.
Very well.
And then can our new friend carry the other?
The gnomes?
The other Warforged. The other Warforged.
That's a good question.
I mean, Arbon, there's only one way to find out. He's yours. The Warforged is yours to command.
I asked the Warforged if he is capable of picking up one of the other Warforged.
It walks off to the Warforged that hasn't been packed onto the yak and grabs its legs and turns around and waits for further instructions.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Well, follow me.
It starts dragging the other Warforged along.
God, this is gonna take like 20 hours to get back to
Can he?
Oh,
Can
if
you
we
lift
get
him off the ground?
teleported.
I mean, it doesn't lift it off the ground.
So,
That's true. I mean, we gotta hang out here until we get teleported back.
But will they come with us?
I guess you could send them off in the correct direction.
So here's the deal. I'm pretty sure I can make like a real quick sled slash you know.
Yeah, make a quick
Like slidey sled thing.
yeah, sledge. It's got a specific name, but it escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, it's 2 sticks with fabric in between it usually,
Yeah.
and that way it's not dragging and won't be damaged.
Like a toboggan, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
not a full toboggan. I think toboggans
No.
are like
I know what you mean, but like a half stretcher.
yeah.
I could help Arbon make it with nature to find the best.
Yeah,
Material
you go and
for
you
the
get a couple
craft.
of long, big pieces of wood, and Arbon strips another bit of that metal off at the end of the ship, and then uses it to make, just wraps it around the outsides of the wood, which it does, by the way. You can just wrap this metal around stuff, and it just works.
Thank you for your time.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.